Incredible, incredible. Hey there! Hello everyone, it's Monday, December 8th, 2008, and this is WFTL Bytes, your occasiodaily FOSS and Linux news show with your host, me, Marcel Gagné. Remember, the site is WFTL Bytes.com for the links to all the stories that I'll mention. Hey, you know, there are a whole pile of things to talk about today, and I didn't even know where to start. I mean, I was going to talk about the RIAA lawsuit. Apparently the RIAA is going after a 19-year-old girl who's got pancreatitis and has been in the hospital after an organ transplant, and they're fining her $8,000. They've already found her guilty because she couldn't answer a lawsuit because she was in hospital for apparently sharing 10 songs online, and she has huge medical bills and can't afford. But I decided not to do that one in favor of a whole bunch of other things. But first I must put on my press hat. Ta-da. My press hat. There we go. My press hat appears to be falling off today. How do you keep these things on anyway? Hey, the first story I've got is Google. Google is apparently releasing a completely open version of their Android T1 phone. Yes, this thing is hardware unlocked. It's SIM unlocked. It's bootloader unlocked, which means that you don't have to have a signed system image to load on the bootloader. You can flash it. You can modify it. You can do whatever the heck you want with it. It's apparently a really good idea, too, for people who might be working outside of the T1 service mobile area. So if you want to be a developer, and apparently this is only recommended for people who are considered advanced developers, you must first sign up as a Google Android developer and plunk down $399. Only one G1 unlocked phone per customer. So act fast! Sounds like a lot of fun. Hey, over at ZDNet Asia, apparently cloud computing is going to fuel, are you ready for it? An OSS, a free software, open software explosion! Says who, you ask? Well, apparently Tom Berquist, who is the former managing director of financial supergiant Citigroup and Goldman Sachs. Well, apparently now he's also the CFO of the open source database firm Ingress. Well, anyway, he suggests that the huge, monstrously huge hardware and software costs necessary to create, build, and maintain these clouds that we're all going to live our digital lives in is apparently going to naturally force vendors to look at open source software and to work with open source alternatives. So there you go. Sounds like fun, isn't it? Over at Computer World UK, another company, Symbian, says that they will open their Symbian OS and make it completely open source by 2010. There will be a quasi-semi-partially open source version by 2009, and that's being done by the Symbian Foundation. The Symbian Foundation replaces the Symbian Consortium. The Symbian Consortium was replaced when Nokia took over Symbian. Now, the foundation is made up of a whole bunch of companies like Samsung, Sony, basically anybody who isn't either Apple or Google. And apparently it's because Google and Apple are injecting huge amounts of competition into the marketplace. You know, I'm never going to learn how you keep this thing on your head. Into the marketplace, that they've decided that they're going to do this. Anyway, that they decided they're going to do this, and apparently it's going to be very interesting. So there's going to be a new, completely open source cell phone operating system on the market within, on the market, so to speak, by 2010. Fantastic stuff. Over at the Linux Journal, I have to tell you this because it's actually one of my favorite headlines in a while. Improving pay toilet Wi-Fi. Doc Searles has been traveling. In fact, he was stuck in Zurich, where he tried desperately to get internet access, and he went through 17 million different menus to the point, and by the way, he posted these pictures on Flickr, to the point that he has no idea whatsoever how much money it's costing him, or it was costing him, for internet access from Zurich. Anyway, he's suggesting that what we need is a free and open Wi-Fi access. You know, Starbucks aside and so forth, but or your favorite coffee shop that offers free Wi-Fi. The Starbucks in the States offer free Wi-Fi. Up here in Canada, I think they do, but I'm not sure about in the States. Anyway, let's move on. Hey, it's the end for Mandriva. Yes, it is. It's the end for Mandriva. Or things are really looking up and things are great over at Mandriva. You might recall that I had a story a couple of days ago, and a couple of WFTL Bytes ago, that Mandriva, in an effort to cut costs because of all the things that were going, has decided to terminate the contracts of all external employees. Well, apparently Vincent Dannon is one of the guys who hasn't been terminated. He's still getting paid. And in his blog, he basically points out that if you take a look at a whole bunch of, statistics that he's uncovered here and there and so forth, things are looking bad, particularly in terms of people signed up for the cooker lists and so forth. Things are looking bad for Mandriva. The interest is waning and things are going downhill. Poppycock, says Adam Williamson, who you might recall from that same story, because Adam Williamson you know, I'm never going to be able to do this. And I'm not going to finish the newscast. There we go. I think it's going to stay on. Anyway, Adam Williamson, who doesn't have a job anymore, who is no longer getting paid, says poppycock. He looks at a completely different set of statistics, specifically on the Mandriva forums and the number of people who are joining and the number of additional members and the number of posts, and says things are actually looking great for Mandriva. So it's a he said sort of thing. And hey, remember, the links are at the bottom. You can go and check out the blog that says that the sky is falling and the blog that says that everything is coming up roses, and you can decide for yourself. And hey, I'm going to finish up with a story from the Register, which apparently the people in this class are doing as well as I've been doing with this hat here. There's a graduating class at a school in Lincolnshire, in England. Apparently, the entire graduating class, 29 students, has failed their computing class. And they failed. Why? Because they handed in their term paper in Microsoft Word format. And the people who are taking care of the exam works have specifically said no Microsoft Word formats. Hey, look, the bottom line is, let's dump these stupid proprietary formats and just get people using open formats like ODF. I mean, the stuff is out there. It only makes sense. Why the heck would you want to tie yourself to a format that's going to get you failing school, for goodness sakes? Computer class, no less. By the way, it's the teacher's fault. Teacher didn't bother telling the students that Microsoft Word was a no-no. By the way, they get to redo their classes in the evening and basically do the work over or something like that. Anyway, bottom line is, if you're in school, it just isn't smart to use Microsoft Word. Or at least in Lincolnshire in England. And on that note, I really think I'm done for the day. You guys are great. WFTLBYTES.com. That's where all the links are. Come check it out every day. I'm really done now. Bye. Woo. I mean it, really.